Gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's March the 8th, 2023. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined once again by our managing editor, Matt Shodell, as we discuss the news of the day. And Matt, we're taking over the show again from the young guys. But I do want to congratulate Azubi and Steven. They did a phenomenal job on the show yesterday, and I enjoyed their input on all the things going on Miami Hurricanes. But today we're back, and we are going to talk a little bit about here the two new coordinators in the UM football program. We had a chance to meet them yesterday, spend about 10, 12 minutes with each of them. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, Matt, but it really was a chance for us to get a glimpse into what these guys are made of, what their personalities are like, just what Mario Cristobal has hired here for his most important and significant positions heading the football program, really underneath of him, because the coordinators run the show on both sides of the ball. Let's face it, and absolutely massively significant hires. And let's take Lance Guidry first, because he was the more animated of the two. Shannon Dawson, the offensive coordinator, had lost his voice and wasn't doing very well. He was having some type of sinus infection working or something. But Matt, I really like Lance Guidry. I mean, he's a character. He's a pure Louisiana guy and makes no bones about it. Talked about eating different food in Louisiana that didn't sound anything like what I would like to eat. I mean, you're a restaurant foodie, I guess I should say. So you'll eat anything. But did he call some? What did he? I'm trying to remember the word he called, something that I'd never heard of before. But anyway, Lance Guidry seemed like a really cool dude.
Look,
when you say look, I get nervous.
Well, let's face it. I was listening to these guys. Both these guys, they obviously have no idea what they're doing. Because they were pretty candid with the media. It was a bizarre moment. It was surreal to hear people actually say things that they think and things that they do. One of the foods that he eats is a king cake, and I did have a king cake once. Apparently, I don't know if they were just messing with me or not, because it was at a friend's house. Because I have friends whose children go to Tulane, and they had this big Mardi Gras type party, and I actually was up in New Orleans once for Mardi Gras and for Jazz Fest another time. So it's a good time out there. But so we had this king cake, and apparently the goal of the king cake is to find the baby. They have like a weird little plastic baby in the cake hidden somewhere, and like somebody
actually K-I-N or K-I-N-G?
King.
It's a king cake. Okay.
Yeah. Like CaneSport is the king of covering the Miami Hurricanes. Yeah.
And what is in this king cake?
It's a disgusting cake. You don't want to eat it. But there's a little plastic baby that's in the cake hidden, and somebody ate it by accident, apparently. So that's Lance Guidry to me. If he makes his players eat king cake and find the baby, that would be super weird. So I don't know why he was even talking about king cake at his press conference. But look, I'm not going to differentiate, talk about Lance Guidry and then talk about Shannon Dawson just because you want to. I'll talk about them both because they were such a dichotomy between both of them, right? Shannon Awesome gets up there and starts saying how he's gonna, he's always molded his offense to the players. One year he has the nation's top receiver. Another year they had great running backs. Another year they discovered they had all these tight ends, and he just incorporates them into his scheme. He doesn't even run an air raid. He's never even heard of what an air raid offense is. He has no idea what an air raid is. He doesn't understand why people keep saying air raid to him. It was apparent from his interview. He says, I don't run an air raid. I don't know what you guys are talking about. So I like that, because that's the one thing that I really struggled with last year with everything Josh Gaddis was doing, was he was imposing this offense on a group that really wasn't built for what he wanted to run. You can't run the Michigan offense that he ran the year before at what he had personnel-wise at Miami last year. And look, maybe nothing would have worked given some of the receiver issues they had, but he certainly didn't try to mold his offense around what he had. This is a guy who is, unlike Gary Ferman and Matt Shodell, amenable to new ideas. He will change the way he thinks. He won't always be negative Nancy, Nelly, Billy, Bobby, Sammy. He will actually try to do things regardless of how he feels about it to help the team. Now, the dichotomy with Lance Guidry very clearly told us, I'm not doing anything to help my players. I am going to use the same terminology I always used. They are going to have to learn it. It's going to take them forever. I'll be lucky if 60% of my defense is in by the spring. In the fall, they may not understand a whole bunch of my plays, so we'll just run what they understand. That's literally what he stood up there and said. Cajun, Louisiana, whatever he wants to call himself, King Guidry, I don't care. I actually like that. I don't know why. For some reason, if it was the offensive coordinator saying that, I would have had a problem with it. But when Lance Guidry said it to me, it made perfect sense. I don't know why. Maybe it's his Cajun accent. But I'm like, yeah, let's do that. Make them learn your system. Don't adapt to them. Make them adapt to you. That's defense. Let's go. I was all over it.
I loved when I asked him about the defense and the unorthodox stuff that he does, and he kind of
angry.
I'm not doing anything special. It's really
Right.
4 down linemen. Just because the two ends are standing up most of the time, it doesn't make it unique.
I don't know what reporter is he talking about. I think he runs it. That thinks he runs a 2-3 whatever. Nobody thinks he runs a 2-3-6 or whatever. I don't know what he's talking about. I haven't seen that anywhere. Of course he has 4 down linemen. He's always been reported to have a 4-2-5. He literally said, I have a 4-2-5. My only preference was that he didn't name the nickel guy. I don't like him being named the star because it brings back bad memories. Wasn't that he who can't be named?
He did say Corey Couch right now is running first team at the star.
Yeah, which is nickel, which is fine, but he wants that guy. I mean, he literally said in the same breath, my star position has coverage cornerback skills who tackles like a safety. And then he said, and that's to Corey Couch. No, DeCorey Couch does not tackle like a safety. He's a good tackler at 5'9" and 180 pounds if we ever actually get an updated roster, which we still have not, of course. And, I think I went viral for being yelled at by the sports information person because one of the other networks had a clip where they're yelling, Shodell, get back here, after I tried to go actually do my job. And some other reporters had already gone over there that apparently for some reason didn't get yelled at because I'm the only one they watched. But I can see you want to talk. What?
No, I was going to say, I didn't look specifically at the roster that they were handing out yesterday, but that didn't have updated heights and weights on it. It was the same thing we had. Oh, it was the same thing as day one? Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I was joking with other reporters about it. It's a little ridiculous. Okay, fine. So there's no updated heights and weights, but why does the sports information department say, whatever you do, don't take any pictures of this roster. Don't post this roster on social media. Not even just the new numbers. Don't post it on social media. I don't understand. Why is that a big secret? There's not even updated heights and weights. It's just uniform numbers and names. Don't post it on social media because other teams won't know who your players are when the game starts. I just don't understand any of it. But anyway, listen. So the person who actually taped me getting accosted, I don't know what the word is, by unbraided, whatever adjective you want to use, by the sports information guy, he comes up to me yesterday and says, I didn't even realize it was in there. Normally I would cut that out. I'm like, no, I'm glad you left it in. I said, if you came to me and said, listen, should I edit that out? I'd say, no, keep it in, because it's ridiculous that they even do that. I mean, it's embarrassing, and they need to know, we shouldn't be doing this. We shouldn't be telling reporters, stay in this little corner when everyone else in the free world is able to go anywhere they want. Again, I said it 2 days ago, we're the conduit for fans to the program. We want the program to do well. As much as people think I don't want the program to do well, if they win a couple of games, that's fine with me, And no, of course I want them to do well because it's more fun to cover a winning team, people, okay? Why do you think I'm like this? It's because I've been beaten down by years of mediocrity and sub-mediocrity. It's like Stockholm Syndrome, where I'm trapped in this room and can't get out, and the room is just 8 wins, 7 wins, 8 wins, 6 wins, 8 wins. That's the room I'm stuck in. And if they open the door right now and say, go on out, see what it's like to win 11 games, I'd be scared to leave because I don't know what that feels like. It's been 25 years. I'll stay in my little room with my 7 or 8 wins, and like that's where I'm at. That's why this is here. That's why this is here.
If it makes you feel any better, I caught that individual that you're referring to who works in sports information standing in a line for the basketball team leaving yesterday, waving pom-poms like this, okay? So that's always available to us to put on YouTube if we want equal.
See, look, I don't want to go talk too much, but this bothers me because I've talked to one of the people who waves the pom-poms. They're told to show up and cheer on the team as part of their job. Like, no,
like a dozen of them out there. It was so lame that Azubi and I said, we got to get out of here. We're not filming this. we went
again. They don't understand. Like, this is media relations, public relations. They don't seem to understand. Don't force your employees to wave pom-poms and pretend they're interested in being there. Let them stay in their office and do their jobs. Let the fans be there. Send out email blasts. Hey, come say goodbye to your team as they head to the ACC tournament. Because guess what? If they'd done that, if they made an announcement at the final game, like
there
be
would
sure
be
to
more
show
than
up.
like 12 people there, I think.
Yeah, they say be sure to show up at whatever. You don't think there would have been 100 fans there? I mean, these fans are passionate.
It's the ACC tournament. It's not like the Sweet 16, but
fans love this basketball team. They would have shown up, I believe.
Yeah, but I think there would have been more than 12. All right, so a few things we got to unwrap here from your soliloquy that you just gave, and the first one I want to get with is this.
There it is.
So this is a king cake, okay? A New Orleans Mardi Gras king cake, okay? Matt, what the heck is inside there? It looks like a loaf of bread.
Look, it's disgusting. I've eaten it. It's dry. I think they like make 1,000 of them a day or whatever, and they keep it in a warehouse for a couple of years to make sure it's stale. And then they ship them out nationwide. And like I said, there's see if you can find a picture of the little plastic baby that's in there, because honestly, it's a choking hazard. I don't know how they get away with that stuff. But you know what? While you're looking for the baby, should I do my DNR? I got a DNR today.
Go ahead.
All right, so look for the baby. I'll do the DNR. Here's my DNR, okay? We're starting spring practice, and it occurred to me today, and I was talking about it with some of the other media members, you know, I never understood where it comes from, where, because I'm old school, I don't know this stuff. You know, players are, over the last few years, it's always been, oh, he's a dog. He's got that dog in him. Like, that's a compliment, you know? And apparently it comes from some meme, which, you know, I think I would pronounce meme because I just don't pay attention to this stuff. But anyway, my whole thing is it makes no sense. So I want to start a trend, because the only dogs that I see around the Coconut Grove area are like Labradoodles and like little tiny, look like stuffed animal dogs. Like, that's not a football player. That doesn't strike fear in anybody. So I want Miami players, if you're listening, I want to change the dog into koala bear, because koala bear makes a lot of sense, right? Koala bear, cute and cuddly, but it's one of the most ferocious beasts in the world. A koala bear will rip your head off if you get close to it, okay? And it'll eat you. So like, you know, let's just, for example, let's say, you know, Nick Saban comes to town and plays Miami, right? So he's seen the Miami defense. He's like, oh, they're so cute and cuddly. And he like dials up a deep bomb down the field, you know? Bam! Quarterback's head gets taken off. Bam! They take the quarterback's toenails and use them as ice cubes for their tequila drinks. Like, that's a koala bear, bro. You got koala bear. That's the new thing. No more dog. It's koala bear. We're changing it.
All right. Well, all right.
That's my DNR. I will never write a quote where a player says he's a dog. Like, I get that all the time. It's going to happen again during spring practices. He's a dog. What do you think of so-and-so? He's a dog. He's a koala bear. He's a koala bear. That's what I want to hear. Okay, players? Thank you. That's it. Terrible DNR, but I don't care.
Back to the king cake, because
where's the baby?
I'm intrigued by this. I can't find any babies. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Go to Google and type in king cake baby, and you'll see the freaking choking hazard right there.
King cake baby, huh?
Yes. I literally gave you a ton of time. You can even go into Google.
I mean, I see these little plastic babies, but they're not inside a king cake.
That's the baby that's hidden in the cake.
These little plastic babies.
Yes, they hide a plastic baby in each cake.
One baby.
One baby.
Unbelievable. All right, so they're little plastic babies. I'm
You
not
have
going
to
to waste
show it. All right,
my
don't
time.
show it. What do I?
I'm not going to waste my time downloading the picture and uploading it into our system and showing it on the screen. It's a little plastic baby. Okay.
Yes.
All right, we'll buy the bit on that one. All right, back to football. The hell with king cakes that Lance Guidry likes for some crazy reason. So Shannon Dawson had an offense last year at Houston that featured the quarterback running quite a bit. And I asked him, I said, Shannon, are you able to adapt your scheme? Tyler Van Dyke is not going to be running the football. I can't remember how many reps a game that guy had. I think it was at least 10 reps a game or whatever. Can you adapt your scheme? And I love the answer. He absolutely said, yes, I can adapt the scheme. That's the way it's supposed to work. Other people are stubborn. I'm not stubborn. Of course, I'm going to adapt this scheme to the players that we have here at Miami. And man, that was music to my ears because we've seen the opposite with Gaddis and Enos and some of these guys that have come through here, and it just didn't go very well. And I liked what Shannon Dawson was saying. Matt, your thoughts?
Well, I sort of already addressed it, but yeah, like I said, Shannon Dawson is willing to adapt his offense. I actually like his offense a lot. What really struck a chord for me is when he said, we don't want to throw it a ton. We just want to pass for more yards. Because most people equate, well, if you pass more, you'll have more yards. That's not necessarily true. And he made it very clear for the morons in the media that when you run the ball successfully, it draws in the defense, and then you can really hit the big plays over the top. So you have more yards passing total than you would if you just try to throw the ball all the time, and the defense doesn't really have to worry about stopping the run. The best offenses in the country are the ones that can run the ball successfully and pass the ball successfully. If you can only do one and not the other, generally you're not going to be that successful. Certainly some programs have shown they can do it, but just in general, you really need to have some success in both areas and be capable in both areas, because guess what? If your quarterback's having an off day or the other team has two great cornerbacks and you can't run the ball because you never run the ball, that's probably going to be a tough matchup for you. If you can do a little bit of everything really well, that's great. One question that really wasn't answered for me that I will look for next time we talk to him is how he's going to use the tight ends. He did say that he has a great tight ends room, but what he didn't address is how he's going to use them, because every time we see them line up, they have one tight end. So far, they have one tight end formation. I haven't seen a single, they haven't got the jumbo packages. They haven't done anything super innovative. But right now, every formation we're seeing during the media period is 3 wide receivers and 1 tight end. And the tight end's either attached or in the slot. And the tight end with the first team right now is Cam McCormick, who, let's face it, is not a fast downfield receiving threat. He's a guy who maybe will get 5 or 10 yards if you need him to. But not as Jaleel Skinner. And so I'm very curious to see if Jaleel Skinner can pass him by. And then in yesterday's practice, I have to go back to the notes. I think it was Riley Williams was maybe the third team. I'll look it up real quick. I think Riley Williams was the third team tight end, which it's Jackson Carver. Sorry.
I think it was Jackson Carver.
Carver. Jackson Carver was the third team tight end, which I found interesting because Cam McCormick, let's face it, he's a blocking tight end. Okay, I don't care. You could say he can catch the ball, whatever. He's a blocking tight end. He's a big physical guy, not that fast. That's what he is. But the other two guys, Jaleel Skinner and Jackson Carver, are these tall, lanky, receiving type tight ends. So I'm very curious if Shannon Austin will be willing to really throw the ball to the tight ends, because what he said yesterday is he already thinks he has a go-to receiver, but he won't tell us who it is. And
who do you think it is?
I mean, it's obviously one of his 3 starters, which is Jacoby George, Colby Young, and Xavier Restrepo. My guess is, knowing that last year his top 2 receivers, yard-wise, were both in the slot, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize he's talking about Xavier Restrepo. He thinks is his go-to guy. And to me, you need an outside threat at receiver. You can't just have a go-to guy who's a slot. I can't remember the last time Miami had their top receiver out of the slot. I mean, I think even in the days of Roscoe Parrish and who was one of the other little small guys? I don't know. Most of the times those guys are getting a lot of yards. Yeah, but they're outside receivers too. They're not like Xavier's only in the slot unless somehow they're going to move him around. He's really only been in the slot every time he's played. So we'll see. I mean, it's going to be very interesting. This offense will look a lot different. The defense is going to be totally different. I mean, literally, Lance Guidry told us he made up his own scheme. Like this isn't a scheme that you can't say it's like an offense. You say an air raid or a pro. Like this is a defense that he literally says he's made up himself. Nobody else runs it. That he gleaned pieces of it from high school coaching, other pieces from different college experiences, and that he just sort of wings it. He sees something, he's like, oh yeah, I've seen this, and then he does that. So it's a great defense in the sense that I don't think an offensive coordinator can prepare for it because it's literally just inside his brain where he just decides to do something. It's like World War II where you're trying to intercept the messages and have the decoding device that'll tell you, oh, okay, here's what the Japanese are doing. Like I don't know if he's the Japanese or the Americans, but either way, it's very hard to decode what he's going to do on a given play because he doesn't have this pattern of X equals Y, Y equals Z. It's just basically his mumble jumble brain deciding to do something spur of the moment, and this is what we're doing this play because this is what I think's coming.
Well, another thing that stood out to me was when Shannon Dawson was talking about the air raid, and I think you mentioned this early or in the show, and he basically said, I don't run the air raid. And the reason for that is, and we talked about this when the hiring process was going on for offensive coordinator, in that air raid guys are evolving around college football. They are realizing the value of the running game and what this offense is going to be if Mario Cristobal gets his way, and I'm presuming that he will because the hiring was probably predicated on this. He wants a power run game with air raid passing concepts blended in. And
don't say air raid. You want Shannon Dawson to be mad at you, Gary? Don't say the word air raid.
Air raid concepts. That's what they're going to be.
No, he doesn't run an air raid.
Well, they're going to be air raid concepts.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So I like it. I think you like it. The first impressions on both these guys were really, really good.
Very good.
And I look forward to talking to them again and getting to know them even better than what we did yesterday. So in addition to the king cake that Lance Guidry was saying, did he I'm trying to remember, was he talking about chitlins or like there was some other food? I mean, I've heard.
I'm pretty sure you're mispronouncing it. But listen, the New Orleans cuisine. I don't know why he's messing around with all this other food. Okay, the only thing you need to order if you ever go to New Orleans is charbroiled oysters. Okay, there's like 3 or 4 famous places for it. Just eat the charbroiled oysters. Don't mess around with the king cake.
How about the beignets
or the curse words Gary's uttering right now? Like,
how about the beignets at Cafe Du Monde?
It's char-grilled oysters. They're amazing.
I like the beignets at Cafe Du Monde.
Yeah, I mean it's very touristy. If you want to wait,
that's my.
You want to wait for half an hour and eat a lot of powdered sugar? Sure, you could do that, Gary. You're also the same
you
guy.
Get them without powdered sugar. You can get them with a little bit of powdered sugar.
Listen, you can't even talk to anybody right now because you ordered the freaking Nutella French toast at Green Street. Okay, so nobody's gonna listen to you. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that was a lot of calories, man. It took me a couple days to burn those calories. Woof! But it was pretty good. A lot of Nutella though. A lot of Nutella in that French toast. All right, let's move on. The basketball team. Some people out there get mad at when we talk about basketball on the show. Come on, guys. This is a basketball school right now, okay? There's a lot of people that have embraced interest in this basketball team, and they just won the ACC regular season. So, yes, we are covering basketball, and we will continue to cover basketball all the way up until the very end of the season, whether it's 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, hopefully 4 weeks. Doesn't matter. We'll be covering basketball. They left for the ACC tournament yesterday, and it's interesting. They go up there, they're the #1 seed, and there's going to be a bullseye on their back. There's no doubt about it. The players didn't seem to care very much, Matt. They're embracing it. They're embracing the challenge. They're not worried about being a target for all these other teams in the ACC. Can they emerge at the end of this week out of Greensboro as the ACC tournament champion as well as the regular season champ?
Well, read my column this week. Read my column this morning.
That's why I'm talking about it.
And maybe you'll find out. Maybe do some reading, do some research. No,
Tell us about your column this morning.
The biggest thing to me,
CaneSport.
the only caveat to what I've seen, if that's even the right word, you could look it up, Gary. is the end of game situations where they just seem to sort of, I don't know if it's Larinaga sort of, telling them to back off and run clock and they get less aggressive. I don't know what it is. But the last 3 to 5 minutes of games where they have a lead of more than 5 points, it just seems like they don't ever expand that lead. It always becomes a one-possession game at the end. I don't know why. And constantly, over and over again, they couldn't handle the Pittsburgh press. I think the Pittsburgh coach was probably, in retrospect, very upset he didn't press earlier because it was very obvious Miami really had a problem with that. So look, that to me, if they don't struggle at the end of the games, this is a team that can and should probably win the ACC tournament. That can and should get to the Elite Eight and beyond, probably Final Four. But that's been their Achilles heel, is they have these weird late game meltdowns. I don't know if it's going to be mental now with them because it's just recurrent. But the good news is that they have a really good team chemistry. Like, these guys really like each other. They love playing with each other. The only other thing I'd caution is, as crazy as it sounds, and maybe fans will think I'm nuts, Isaiah Wong is the ACC Player of the Year. If Miami's down by a point, down by 2 points with 5-10 seconds left, I don't want the ball in Isaiah Wong's hands. I don't know why I feel that way. I just see him constantly putting his head down and running into traffic. And with the better teams out there that understand what he's doing and just get in his way and take a charge or just put their hands up, he literally just jumps into people trying to draw fouls. He's not under control. I don't know if he panics at the end of the games because, look, he's the ACC Player of the Year. He should have the ball in his hands with 5 to 10 seconds left, but I'd rather have Jordan Miller have it. I don't know why.
No, you would not.
I don't know why. That's just how I feel.
Miller's spectacular, but he's not an offensive creator. Like,
Jordan Miller takes smart shots and is smart with the ball.
I know, but with the game on the line, you can't count on him to get a good shot.
Let's wait and see. And you know what? Fans can comment. Fans can yell at me or tell Gary he's wrong. Look, I've been watching the games all year.
You're crazy.
I am crazy. I've been watching games all year.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Jordan Miller never – that's true. Jordan Miller never freaks out. He's always calm and collected. Yes. He plays under control constantly. And Isaiah most times plays under control. But at the end of games, he just has this tendency to freak out and just start, like, really trying to create, just thinking, okay, I'll get in the lane and just figure it out. There's no plan. He just runs, makes his moves, runs in the lane, doesn't know where he is, tries to draw a foul, flips the ball up. That's what I see. Call me crazy because he's obviously the most talented player in the ACC. He won the award for it.
He has struggled more this year than he has in past years. No argument. But with the game on the line, if you have to have a bucket, the ball's going to be in his hands.
Right. I'm not sure it should be.
Maybe he can pass it a little more. Like, you do have Jordan Miller. You do have Wong. You have Wooga Poplar, who made 6 out of 8 3-pointers.
By the way, that's my other key. If Poplar is hot still, I mean, this is a team that could beat anybody in the country. There's no doubt about it.
No doubt. So, basketball team on its way to Greensboro for the NCAA tournament. Matt's got a column. He's coming behind the column I had on the site yesterday. So feel free to read both of those if you haven't, or Matt's column today if you read my column yesterday. And that should get you ready for some ACC tournament basketball as the week goes on. All right, other stuff that's on the website today. Obviously, we have extensive coverage of Miami's second spring practice, which took place yesterday, including video from Green Tree Practice Field, notes from watching on at practice, as well as insight from those two coordinators. So make sure you do not miss that. As part of our preview of the basketball team going to Greensboro, we had updates with Jim Larinaga and the team as UM departed from North Carolina. Make sure you check that out today. On a recruiting note, we have an update on 4 stars Aquan Patterson, who has Miami atop his list, but he also has a couple of visits to Miami in mind, but also might be taking some out-of-town visits as well. We also have an analysis of why quarterback Aaron Noland is such a high priority for the Canes to land in this class, as well as an update with safety CJ Jimkali, who picked up his 3rd offer from an ACC school when he added Miami to his list. Lastly, we have a story on a guy that Stephen and Wagner and myself feel strongly will be a Miami Hurricane, and that's King Joseph Edwards. And we talk about why he is trending up for Miami, predictions that were put in, and make sure that you check that out.
Yeah. By the way, before you sign off, I do have a couple of quick thoughts if somebody still tuned in, which
I
I
was
doubt
just
it.
getting ready to say, Matt, do you have any quick thoughts before
I
we start?
do. I do. Thank you for asking, Gary Ferman. That's the first. So, just a couple of things from the practice field, okay? As for freshmen, who I think already you're going to see have roles that are significant this year, just based on what this is 2 practices, shorts, and a helmet, okay? But, Ray Joseph, yeah, he's in a red jersey, but he's already a second teamer, okay? Robbie Washington's with the third team. So, I think Ray is going to have a major role as the season goes forward. Caleb Spencer is at safety, okay? Everyone says, oh my gosh, well, they have 2 amazing safeties. Yeah, they do. But it's a 4-2-5. I wouldn't rule out James Williams when he gets back being in some sort of role in the box more so, either as a even potentially as a will, not necessarily as a star.
Well,
but
they got the Saint and Naigoa.
no, I understand, but you can use guys in different ways, right? So maybe you're right. Maybe not a will. I mean, I don't know how you use him, but he can go with 3 linebackers, or essentially a 4-2-5 where a safety is in the box. So whatever you want to call him, whether it's Will, Sam, whatever, star, I don't care. But he could be in the box is my point. Caleb Spencer looks physically, athletically amazing. He literally dwarfs Marquise Williams and just looks athletic as heck. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say. They got to find a role for that guy some way or another. I keep hearing Marcellus Pulliam's not here yet, but I keep hearing he's going to be a stud when he gets here at linebacker also. So the linebacker situation may not be a lost cause either. And then, Francis Mauigoa, look, we haven't seen anything yet from the true freshman, but Francis Mauigoa and Samson Okunlola are both with the second team. Let's face it, the offensive line doesn't have very many healthy bodies. I think there's a first team, a second team. I think the third team, the only scholarship player right now on the third team that's healthy, I think is Antonio Tripp. I'm pretty sure that's right. I think Ryan Rodriguez was there for the first practice, not the last practice. So, some of these guys, they'll hold out certain days, whatever. But so those 2 guys, I expect one of them to start. Right now, I think the left tackle, they moved Jalen Rivers to left tackle, which is fine. I think he could actually play tackle. He really could. He's really good. But then the right tackle, I think, is maybe Michael McLaughlin. Is that who they're using right there right now? Is McLaughlin? I could easily see one of those 5-star guys at least starting at right tackle. And it's going to be really interesting as this thing moves forward to see how they shift things up. Lance Guidry, we didn't talk about this before, but Lance Guidry literally said that every day, based on performance, whatever he thinks, he's going to be changing the depth chart in the fall. It's not like, okay, after each scrimmage, which is normal, they change the depth chart a little bit. He says every day he's going to change the depth chart. Okay, so there's going to be constantly new first teamers in the fall. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of cohesion. I'm a big fan of, get your starters ready to go, 1 versus 1, good versus good, do that. So we'll see what happens in the fall. That sounds like an interesting plan. But again, I would like, this spring's all about, especially on offense, figuring out who can get the job done, and going against a defensive line that's missing essentially what Lance Guidry said is 4 starters. I guess he's including Jared Harrison Hunt in that because of injury. I'm not sure you get a great sense of your offensive line this spring. So we're going to have to probably wait until, summer drills, fall drills to get a sense of really which of these offensive linemen are the best. Like, I'm not going to read a lot into what happens with the offensive line this spring, unless they're giving up a lot of sacks and tackles for loss, which would be a really bad sign, because there's no reason that these second team and third team defensive linemen that are healthy right now should be able to do much against a really good offensive line. If you think Matt Lee and Javion Cohen, who's back, and the other guys that they have are good, which they should be. And I'm not sure that the second team offensive line right now is not as good as the first team. They got 2 5-stars on the second team offensive line. So, they should have a strong 2 deep.
All right, so there you go for Good Morning CaneSport today. We thank you so much for starting out your day with us once again. If you like our YouTube channel, if you like this show, if you like anything that we do, please hit your subscribe button, hit your like button. It helps us with the algorithms at YouTube. If you are not yet a CaneSport.com subscriber, please take advantage of our spring ball special. I believe it's $10 for 4 months. So that's $250 a month. Yes, we are almost giving it away, but we want everybody out there in the Canes Nation to have an opportunity to sample the new CaneSport.com that's now part of the On3 network, and hopefully you will stick around for a while. If not, Matt and I will be retired. Azubi and Steven, God knows what they'll be doing, and there'll be no more CaneSport. So we hope.
What are you talking about? What is wrong with you? Edit the whole thing out. You tell
I'm
me
begging
what
people to
CaneSport.
subscribe.
There's gonna be panic. There's gonna be panic in the streets.
We got it. The kids are doing a good job. We got to give them a raise. I am begging people to subscribe so that we could adequately pay Azubi and Steven for the great job.
You'll be Bat Ferman, and I'll be Robin.
All right.
That's what we'll do. We'll just fight crime. We'll fight crime if CaneSport goes under. We'll fight the injustice of the Sports Information Department at the University of Miami.
Or take it over. How about that? All right. So yeah, thank you everybody for watching the show today. We'll see you next time.